Hello, hello, and welcome to Here We Are, the Mindful Podcast for Millennials, where it's all about remembering where we've been, knowing where we're going, and taking up space in the present through the art of storytelling. I'm your host, Teka, and I'll tie together the practice of presence and life lessons with faith and mental health nuggets too. Whether sharing my own experiences or featuring a special guest, I hope to inspire you to take control of your story and take control of your life. I hope you receive what you need from today's episode. And remember to check out the show notes in the description for links that I reference. Ready? Let's journey. And welcome back, you all. Thank you so much for continuing to support, for listening and watching. Here we are. Today's a very special episode because it is June, and June is the month where men's health awareness as well as Father's Day are honored. And so what better way to honor those two than by having a very special guest with us today. This is my dear friend and brother that I've known for over 14 years. He is a father, he's a mental health and behavioral health professional, but also he is a man at this core. And so I want to hear some of the stories that have been really impactful and have changed the trajectory of his life when it comes to fatherhood and his overall well-being. So welcome to the podcast, Zakee. Zakee, thank you for joining us. Woo! I need an applause effect. Thank you. I know it's been over 14 years, so we're going to have to go back in time to remember how we met. My version of it may be different from your version because I think about my version is my crossing day, actually my probate. I don't know if your version is that and the party after, but we met, to my knowledge, March 27th, 2010. Is that your version of it too?
Initially, yes.
Yeah.
Initially,
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And if y'all don't know, so both of Zakee and I are part of what's known as Black Greek letter organizations, also known as the Divine Nine. I'm in Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. He is an Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And although we're not legally bonded, there is a relationship based on two of our founders, Edna Brown Coleman and Frank Coleman. Yeah, we're brothers and sisters because two of our founders dated and did get married in 1918. And so we're kind of like their kids. We Coleman kids because of the Coleman love between our organizations. But he was actually at my probate. So our probate, we don't really call it that anymore. New initiate presentation is what he and his line brothers, chapter brothers had attended. And we are both the tail of our line. And so I think that was one of the initial connections. And then I also did the greeting for Omega Psi Phi. So that was also another kind of standout connection. Then we had a party after. And I don't remember a lot from that party. Not because I was under the influence, but because it was just a long weekend and week and period of my life. But I think after that, the initial kind of sheen of the organizations and college and all that kind of wear down. And once we graduated, our friendship really started to form. And I don't know, it was maybe my senior year at CNU. Maybe?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. Maybe around that time.
Around that time, in your junior year?
I think even more when you was up in Howard, then I moved up this way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that was 2013, 2014.
Yep.
Okay.
13, 14.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we were both in DC. We reconnected, and then it's been going ever since. He claims my mama as his own.
I even got a tattoo on my arm.
No, he doesn't. It's not my mom.
It is my mother name is on my arm. So
which is also my mother's name. But anywho, I'm glad you could join though, because I feel like I know majority of your story in terms of fatherhood and just kind of what that has looked like. We can be vulnerable and talk about our mental health and how that's been affected. We've had a lot of ups and downs on our just life journey, both of us, whether it's being from launching businesses, relationships. You having children, now you got 4 kids, kind of 5, you just got a lot of kids. And I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about your fatherhood journey and how that, in the context of your well being, has influenced a lot for you. And so, just to kind of start from the beginning, what does like fatherhood mean to you? What would you say that is?
Fatherhood. So first, I want to start by saying I was I was raised in a single mother household.
Mm-hmm.
Um, of course, she had like boyfriends and even a husband at one point. But
Mm-hmm.
growing up, I didn't have no father figures. I had male role models.
Mm-hmm.
So I think fatherhood is more of a consistent role model in your life. Somebody to show responsibility, strength, and as well as affection. Because I think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times we forget that. So like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times I tell my son is they can cry, but don't cry with spilling. So
Yeah.
you know, so fatherhood is just the embodiment of feeling safe overall.
Mm,
It's kind of what I look at it as. So
yeah.
I try my hardest to have my kids feel safe, rather it's somebody's bullying them or just financially feel safe that hey, I can buy this for you so you can go to school and do what you need to do. So
Mm-hmm.
that's I think what fatherhood means to me.
Yeah. So embodiment of feeling safe. So it doesn't necessarily, for you, your example wasn't necessarily someone who was related to you by blood. Or even if it was, it didn't have to be.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I didn't have no father figures, but I
Right.
had men
Men
in
in
my
your
life
life. Mm-hmm.
who was role models, and it was different aspects of my life and different parts of my life, but they made me feel safe. Rather, it was on the football field, they being my coach, but then keeping up with me and making
Mm-hmm.
sure I got to college and making sure that transition was going well. My uncle to Virginia, him just kind of teaching me about credit, teaching me
Mm-hmm.
about how to be financial sound and things of that sort. That part of being safe, where it was like he's teaching me so
Mm-hmm.
that I can succeed in the future. And same with
Mm-hmm.
all the other gentlemen, they either taught me something so I can succeed, or they protected me with some type of knowledge or some type of gesture. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what when I think of like fatherhood, I just think of the consistency of that.
Yeah.
Because of course, they're not in my life 24/7, you
Right.
know. So with a father, I feel like the fatherhood is more of like this consistency of making sure your child feels safe by all those aspects of life.
Yeah. Yeah. So when it came to your introduction to fatherhood and when you first became a father, like what do you remember that being like for you and kind of like the thoughts that were going through your mind?
I mean, I was excited, but of
How old were
course,
you?
so I was I'm saying older, but I was 24, 24,
Mhm. Mhm.
maybe going on 25. I was
Mhm.
still in college at the time. I
Mhm.
had just crossed
Mhm.
recently, so I was still in Neo. Um, I was thinking, I'm excited because I'm like, okay, I have a legacy,
Mhm.
like we all make quote unquote legacies, but a true legacy is like our bloodline, in my
Mhm.
eyes. So I said, okay, I have a legacy for someone to carry on my name, which fun is, funny that he does not have my last name, but to
Yeah.
carry on my name. Um, so that was one feeling of excitement. The other feeling was I didn't even become scared or frightened in the aspect until like maybe 2 days before. She had a
Really?
C-section. Yeah, like because that's when the issue like, man, now I gotta start these little bit of coins that I'm making part
Yeah.
time. As a
Yeah.
college student, I gotta try to make this stretch to now. Take care of him. No more phone pauses. In
Right.
my size, basically. Um,
Not in your size at least.
not
Yeah,
in
we
my
get some
size.
baby ones.
Exactly. So it's like a roller coaster. Like obviously, I was excited, but then at one point I was like, I wanted the best relationship at the time, so I
Mhm.
was like, how's this gonna work? Then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna man up, do what I need to do.
Mhm.
And then got kind of scared towards the end of the pregnancy, and
Mhm.
him actually being.
Yeah.
Um, So it's just a roller coaster. Like it wasn't like one particular emotion. It was kind of like the trimesters. Like the
Mhm.
women go through trimesters. I feel like as a father or a father
Yeah.
to be, I was going through my own trauma. So like I had my own hormones to deal
Uh-huh.
with. I was like, hey, I'm excited. Man, I'm
Mm-hmm.
scared. Man, I'm worried about how I'm going to provide for this kid or, things of that sort. And I was just like, I think it's more of the not know. Like,
Yeah.
how am I going to take care of this kid? How am I going to feed this kid? Um, I've changed it out of Pampers. I wasn't worried about that part, but
Mm-hmm.
it was just kind of the how's my life going to look from here?
Yeah.
Which the first kid, I feel like it didn't change as much. I think
Okay.
as I got older, I think things changed. But I think that's maturity.
Yeah. Because when more kids, that just multiplies the responsibility. So, is there like a moment for you that you were like, oh, this is fatherhood? Like, this is me really stepping into my dad role? I'm sure
That's
there's
funny.
many,
So yeah,
but
that's what I was
yeah.
about to say. Like, there's not like a particular event, like like when we cross to become
Mm-hmm.
Greek, it's a new person of us, right? And we're
Mm-hmm.
like, man, this is my Greekness. This is me becoming the brand. This is me becoming the Delta. But when it came to like when it comes to fatherhood, I don't have like that come to moment as much as I have moments where I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
like I'm
Yeah.
really I'm responsible for this kid, or this kid life means more to me than my own life, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like moments of that is like when my son, when I come home, the youngest son, he likes
Mm-hmm.
to run up to me when I come home, like, oh, daddy's home,
Mm-hmm.
that right there hits me like it hits me kind of close, and I'm like, oh, this is
Oh,
I'm a daddy. Um, or even when like my other kids just call me dad, whatever the case may be, or even
mm-hmm.
my bonus daughter when she
Mm-hmm.
calls me dad sometimes, it hits me that like I'm not
Mm-hmm.
Zakee, I'm
Mm-hmm.
dad.
Your dad.
Like yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm not the bros, I'm not Zakee, I'm not the supervisor, I'm dad. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's my primary role now, and then
Yeah.
everything else is just to support them. Um,
Right.
but usually, like I said, it's usually just that little split second of like them calling me dad, or my oldest son asking me like, "Hey, what number did you wear in college?" Because he wanted to wear that number at one point.
Oh.
Um, Things like that kind of make me like, all right, this
Yeah.
is it. Or even like we go shopping sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and they're grabbing stuff, and you just like watching them, like the happiness on their face, like
Mm-hmm.
in the back of your head, you like, don't get that one. That's too much. But once you see them get it, you're like, you know what? It's worth it. So
Yeah.
I think those are dad moments. Other than that, I have no Lion King moments, anything like that.
Right. Not
But
Lion King.
um,
Everything
I
the
would
light touches.
I would say so something I've done with all my children,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't think even the mothers of my children know, but I've sang to them every time, like at their birth, when I
Mm-hmm.
finally got them, I sang to them that night. Um,
Mm-hmm.
an Omega song that I just remembered that, that I like. I sing that to them like each one of them, I sing that song.
Really?
So
Sing
yeah,
it.
so I'm not gonna sing it now, but but it is why they treat me so bad. So you've heard it
Okay.
before,
I
but
have.
that's the only thing, and I don't know why that song. I don't know why. I just had. So
It's like that's like the initial bonding moment for you.
I think so. I think so. I
Mm-hmm.
do have my jealous moments because I'm sure we'll get to it later, but my first two children do not live with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I get jealous of like sometimes their bond with their mothers or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not say jealous, but envious of it at times. Like, oh man, I wish I had that. Like I gotta wait
Mm-hmm.
for the weekends or the
Those
summers or the
moments.
holidays to really get that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. So other than that,
Well, let's talk about
it's
that. Like the unique experience for you as a father, because, like you said, have you have four, five kids really. You have your bonus daughter, and then two of them live with you full time. So, because you have this kind of like unique arrangement of how your fatherhood journey is going, like, what do you notice comes up for you in terms of like certain experiences?
Um, like I think when it comes to like me and the children per se,
Mhm.
um, I think I'm the fun parent, so I think I do expose them to more things, or I treat
Okay.
them a little bit different than my counterparts. Uh,
Mhm.
but I am starting to realize like sometimes some of my children they kind of play in the distance. My second oldest son, um,
Mhm.
he he likes to play on like if his mother said no, he'll call me later on and ask me, not knowing that me and her have already spoke to each other or
Mhm.
texted her while he's talking to me when he wants to talk to me. He's the antisocial one. Um,
He is in
but
his own world.
he really is. And the youngest son, the third one, he's just like him, behavior wise. But
Mhm.
like honestly, just like my experience with each and every single one of us is completely different.
Yeah.
One because of ages, their interests, their personalities. So my oldest, he is getting to the point where he really talks to me,
He's in
unless
that
he wants.
preteen teen years now.
Exactly. He's like, I'm gonna talk to you. I'll call you when I need something. But he's always the understanding one when I'm like, oh, I'm not right now. Wait till next week or something like that.
Mhm.
But he's also at that point where he's like, he's becoming a man. So like,
Mm.
I'm trying to drop gems to him and give him a little bit of knowledge, a little more things about like girls and sex and stuff like that without coming
Mhm.
straight out with him like that because like, all the children, which is weird, he's probably the most innocent um, out of all
Aw.
of them. But when it comes to the second born, he he can be a menace. Um, he can be a menace. So my experience with him is just, and of course, my experience with each child is also based off a little bit of my experience with my
Their
counterparts,
moms.
their
Mhm.
mothers. So the second born, he is like I say, he's antisocial with everyone except for his siblings. Um,
Mhm.
and they
Those are
talk.
his besties.
Yeah, his twins, the youngest son who stays with me. Um, that's his twin. I talk to all my kids. I, I call all my kids every day. Um, let's say talk to them every day because once again, they're getting older. Um, but my youngest two children, the experience with them has been completely different because I was like somewhat of a stay at home with the youngest son for about 2 years. So me and him might have like the closest bond. And that's probably why every time I come home, he's running like daddy's home. While the newborn baby, the only girl, the only biological girl, she, I don't think she really cares about me right now because I'm not feeding her. So now every experience is a little bit different right now. Yeah, I know. Just, um, really communication. So like I try to communicate with their mothers as much as I can. Um, if I don't talk to like the oldest one, you know, it gives me one, I'm worried, like, okay, what's going on with your life that you're turning to me? And then the other part, I'm like, I'm feeling somewhat sad. Like, dang, you don't talk to me like, like I love you 100%, all my heart. I mean, no contingencies. You don't want to talk to me just for 5 minutes. So a lot of times I communicate with their mothers and like, hey, everything's good, man. All right, well, I haven't talked to them in 3 days, and then they'll be like, hey, why haven't you picked the phone? We'll talk, something like that. But when it comes to my mental health and like my fatherhood journey, I think as I've as I've matured, I've come to realize that the best way to take care of them is also to take care of myself. So a lot of times I try to have my own little thing, like boxing, trying to get into golfing, stuff like that, so that I have time for myself. So when I do when I am with them or with all of them at once, I have that mental stability to kind of deal with the tantrums, deal with the I never had this before or that looks good. So yeah, so I would say just and really patience too, like kind of stopping and reevaluating like the situation every time they're asking for something or they're acting out. Just reevaluate like, okay, why are they acting like this? And a lot of times they need a nap or they just don't know how to express their feelings, stuff like that. So I feel like has my fatherhood journey has actually helped me mature to like kind of take a step back for the most part and be more calmer before reacting rather than
Mm,
reactive. So
that's a good point. It has so because before you became a dad, were you reactive or did you find yourself kind of like responding more out of emotion?
so before fatherhood, I would say I was nonchalant about some things,
Okay.
but it the nonchalant was more of a like it doesn't matter, so I care. Um, but I was reactive to when it came to like conflict. I was super reactive. Or if it even came to like relationship things, I was more reactive.
Mm-hmm.
So it was never just like all right, it's a small thing. It's like, okay, we might argue a little bit more about this now,
Mm-hmm.
or we might go back and forth about this. But yeah, I mean, I was wild back then. So with kids, they kind of bad because you can't be going to jail or nothing like that. So yeah, a little different. Like I said, I think kids
Yeah.
mature a whole lot faster. Like
Mm-hmm.
like even with like I would say like children that's at home with no father. I feel like the oldest usually gets mature a little bit faster because they have to step into that role of the man or the second member of the household. So I think just as overall human nature, whereas like we know we're responsible for others, so we
Mm-hmm.
become to mature a little bit better, and hopefully we get some growth out of that during that
Yeah.
maturity. So
Yeah. Okay, okay. What are some of those things that you have to continuously do? Like, what are some of the strategies and like your practices to take care of your mental health? Because you are being pulled in a lot of different directions. It does require a lot of you. Like you said, you can't be nonchalant anymore. You can't be emotionally reactive anymore. So, how do you take care of yourself so that you are a good example for your kids?
so I don't know if you call this like conversation we had maybe like 7 years ago, and we was talking about work. Maybe 8 years ago. It was a while ago. We was
Me
talking
and
about work.
you?
Yeah, me and you. It was a while ago.
8 years ago. I
Uh,
can't remember 8 years ago. Wait.
look, I'll tell you. And, we was talking, and you have brought up
Mm-hmm.
self-care, and having balance,
Mm-hmm.
having that work life balance. So
Mm-hmm.
same thing applying to basically being a father or a parent
Mm-hmm.
when you can have it, because it is.
Yeah.
But having that balance of still being me, and I think that helps me not only as a father but also as a husband and as just a man, black man in general.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to step away and have me time. Rather, it's like, you know what? At nighttime, let me go watch Power or something. Let me go watch
Yeah.
this comedy show that I want to watch by myself and just be by myself. Or like I said, I'm trying to take up golfing, just going to play golf, going to
Well,
smoke a
that's how I know you're getting
cigar.
old.
Yeah, I know,
Not
right?
go.
Kind of play golf. Hey, look, I'm trying to bump to some billionaires and
I know
make
that's
something
right. We
happen.
bumping
Uh,
elbows with these businessmen
exactly, trying to make something
and
happen.
women.
But
Mm-hmm.
just taking that time to yourself. And then I'm also like having different outlets to for that frustration, or I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna call it anger. I'm gonna call it frustration. And not just as a father, but just as a black man, a professional, a husband. Like
Yeah.
we we can't, we're not as young as we used to be. We can't just go out and party and kind of blow it in a negative way like that. So,
Mm-mm.
like I'm taking up boxing. Um, I used to wrestle and get into that again. So just kind
Mm-hmm.
of like, hey, let me go take my frustrations out on a boxing bag, rather than let me go drink a bottle or something.
Yeah.
Doing doing smart moves just to that smart and healthy moves
Mhm.
that's productive both for yourself and for your longevity that could help your family in longevity as
Mhm.
well. Um, so really that's one of the main things I try to do, just try to make time for myself, have outlets to blow frustrations, things of that sort. My wife is a good outlet as well,
Mhm.
where I talk to her about stuff. I feel like I'm about 97% open with her.
Okay.
So, you know, so I talk to her about stuff, whatever the case may be. She'll
Yeah.
give me her honest opinion, in my opinion, just her honest
Mhm.
opinion. Um, and that's really just how I kind of like balance and have that mental health aspect of it. And then sometimes I need my kids. Like sometimes like, I need to be around them because I'm missing them. So like my birthday's coming up
Mhm.
in a month. Birthday's be here in a month. I like spending my birthday with them.
Yeah.
Um, like I'd rather have
Oh.
them around me than me just going out with the guys or
Yeah.
something. So that's also part of my mental health, kind of like being in an environment with all of them, but
Mhm.
it's my control of that. Like I decide. Like we're not going to the
Mhm.
house. We're not going to. We're not going to do that. We're going to go. And we're going to watch a movie later on,
Yeah.
real, whatever the case may be. We have
Yeah.
family time. So
Mhm.
yeah, so it's a little bit of both like my alone time, but also structured family time that I get to decide and not quite a birthday party that they want to go to, or like I said, a bouncy house or
Right.
swimming.
Right.
So,
Not
so
super
it's kind of,
kid led, but still they're
yeah,
involved. Yeah.
exactly. They still can enjoy themselves as well.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Why you say 97% you tell your wife? Because I think a lot of men probably could relate. Like, are you 100% open and honest with your partners? Probably not. There's probably some things that we don't know. Like, I'm sure
yeah.
my boyfriend's not telling me 100% of
Well,
everything that he's thinking and going through.
well, in his defense, he is telling you 110%. But not, um, I say 97% because, there's always something or a topic that's too sensitive that you maybe can't share with your wife because maybe it's gonna make her upset or something of that sort. So that's why I say 97%. But even then, I usually share mostly like if I have a feeling about like I don't know, I'm going to make up something to her cousin, right?
Hmm.
If I feel some type of way about her cousin, I'll,
Hmm.
or whatever the case may be. So that's just I say 97%, but I do say 97% because I feel like nobody's 100% honest or themselves with anyone,
Yeah.
except for maybe God, right? Because you can't,
And
you
barely
know,
that.
yeah, exactly. Like even then, you're still maybe kind of put on the front, But even just,
Mm-hmm.
but like I said, but even then, you can't hide who you are when it comes to God because He knows you're in the front. He knows those things. So,
Hmm. I know that's right. Speaking of God and just like spirituality, like faith, like how does that play a part in like fatherhood and like your mental health journey?
that's a good question because I'm not. So I'm Muslim, right?
Hmm.
But I obviously I partake in Christianity and Baptist practices because
Hmm.
of what's around me and just out of respect for them. But I find myself to be more spiritual than religious.
Hmm.
To that because I feel like practice is just like on a day to day your practice of me being faithful to my wife. That's
Hmm.
that's not only because I made that vow, but you made that vow for me.
Right.
So I feel like I'm more spiritual than religious.
Okay.
But I say that to say I feel like my practices in which I've gained over the years, whether it's Islam, Christianity, whatever the case may be, it guides me in a way of this is how a man should be and this is
Hmm.
how a man should act. So I
Hmm.
try to do that the best to my ability.
Okay.
So for listen, you should not be sitting still, right?
Right.
So I try not to sit, or we shouldn't curse as much as we curse. So I try not to curse as much as possible, but it still slips up, because I'm only human. I'm not perfect. But basically, religion, that's the way it shapes me, and it shapes me as being a father.
Okay.
Because once again, they say what I shall honor his father and glory parents.
Hmm.
Um, so I believe that. So when my
Mm-hmm.
kids act up, I let them know, hey, I'm telling you to do this. I'll give you a reason, but I still need you to listen at the end of the day until you're old enough to make your own decisions.
Right. Right.
So yeah, so just in general, for like religion, or faith, it guides me just my way of what I feel a man should be, and
Mm-hmm.
I try to fit that mold the best way I can, or the best way
Yeah.
as possible.
Yeah. Kind of gives you like some principles and some morals to live by. Yeah. And that
Exactly.
makes sense.
It's a little outline. You just got to pay attention.
Hmm. It has instructions. It's a manual. The Bible or the Quran could be a manual. But I
Exactly.
like how you said like you pull even from those different spiritual practices, and so it's not necessarily like you said like super religious, but it's just like a guide. It's a guide for you. And do you find that that's helpful in times when you are like going through rough moments, whether it's just as a man, just as Zakee, or as a husband, as a friend, as a businessman, as a father? Like, is your faith one of those spaces that you can go to when you're having tough times?
It is. It is. And I think it's because of the whole thing, like pray on it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So if it is something really hard, I will go like take a moment to myself, even if it's just like me stopping in my truck when I get home and just stopping and just talking to God, talking out loud, talking to myself,
Mm-hmm.
and just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, hey, help me do this rough patch,
Yeah.
or hey, help me see my next steps, and then from there, just like a little bit of weight lifted off my shoulder, both as
Mm-hmm.
once again, as a father, as a black man, whatever the case may be, for me to go then try and take action, and hopefully my action is guided by what I just prayed. Um, so yeah, I think faith does play a good part in that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like you say, once again, it's one of those things like I'm not even sure if God hears he hears me, but I'm not sure if he's taking action at that point on what I'm asking,
Mm-hmm.
but it makes me feel more secure to go and do what I need to do, knowing that God or Allah has my back and they hear what I'm asking for, and just
Yeah.
kind of and what they say, letting God take the wheel, from
Come on,
there. So,
Jesus, take it,
so,
please.
so yeah, so a lot of times just praying on it, just to kind of get that off my chest, or even like at nighttime. Um, I pray for like to myself. I pray for my whole family and my children that's not, in house with me. Make sure I pray for them. Even when we say like good night, we say, good night, Eve, good night, Mom, even though they can't hear us, just
Mm-hmm.
because it's putting it in the universe, But
Mm-hmm.
in the universe, maybe they get a feeling that, oh, my
Somebody
father,
praying
my
for me.
family's
Mm-hmm.
listening. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just putting it out there in the universe, that universe comes back. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's special. And I think it shows that that's part of like the like foundation for you, because we're talking about fatherhood, we're talking about mental health. And so a lot of people have like foundational things that they can always fall back on no matter what kind of things are removed from their life. So say I can't go to the gym, I know I can pray. Or if I can't talk to my friends, I can talk to God. If I can't, go even to a therapist, I know that in the time being, I'm gonna talk to God, I'm gonna pray, I'm gonna listen to worship music, and I'm gonna be okay until I get connected to those resources that I need to further help me. And so that makes a lot of sense. And I think that kind of is what ties it together in this conversation too. Like you said, it's what guides your principles as a man, as a father, as a husband, but also it's what helps you to decide, hey, tough moments, where I need to go, I'm going to God.
exactly.
Yeah.
He hears you. He may not tell you exactly what to do, but he hears you. So
Hmm.
at that point, you gotta take some action. Like I said, he hears you. So once you take that action, if it's for you, he'll give it to you.
Yeah. Trust in
So
it. Have some trust. That's
exactly.
good. That's good insight. So that being like an anchor for you, I see how it intertwines with everything and the support for you too, in terms of your journey. So based on all of your experience, because like you shared it, you said, okay, you have 5 kids. One of them is your bonus daughter. You have, your the co-parents. You have your wife. You have friends. You have your businesses. Like you have a lot that's going on, and in all of that, like how do you find I don't like using the word balance. I can't, because balance, is anything ever
Yeah.
50-50? Is anything ever balanced? Probably
No,
not. But does it work in harmony? Yes. So
yeah.
how do you find like harmony amongst all of the ways that you are being asked to show up?
Um, I was in communication. So
Mm,
you guys both of my older two
mm-hmm.
sons, mom was there, but like I was terrible in communication, which I disagree. But they'll they'll tell
Their
you now
truth is
like
their truth. Okay.
it's their truth, it's not the truth. But
Oh my gosh.
but it's definitely they'll tell you like hey, you communicate a whole lot better. Like
Mm-hmm.
I give all information. Sometimes I'll over communicate just so that I don't have to
Mm-hmm.
communicate something later on.
Mm-hmm.
So I think communication is a big part of it. Same thing with my wife. I communicate, hey, I think it's gonna look like this. It's gonna look like that. I need you to pick up kids from daycare, so she
Mm-hmm.
knows what's expected from her, and she
Mm-hmm.
knows that I'm not going to be there for a long time.
Yeah.
And then setting boundaries is the other part. When I take jobs, I let them know, hey, Wednesdays that's the youngest son's swim day, so you ain't gonna hear from me at least until 1 o'clock.
I know that's
Or
right.
weekends that's family time.
Mm-hmm.
So don't expect me to pick up a phone call. So like just send boundaries early so that they
Mm-hmm.
know like yes, my job is a priority, but it's
Right.
not my number one priority.
Right.
And I think that kind of brings balance in the fact
Mm-hmm.
because my job knows that if it was the job or my family, I'm going to pick my family
Hello?
120 times.
Yeah.
But it also being communicated to my wife and my son's mothers that, hey, this is happening or that is happening, or hey, I don't get the money right now this week.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay with you? Like just being communicated so they understand like, all right, he has this obligation or money's tight this week, so he can't come down. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not looking at you as a why do you do this or whatever case may be. It's open
Mm-hmm.
communication, so they always are aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's what
And
helps with the whole balance.
I'm about to say, I feel like that's required, especially when you are in a blended fam. Because that's how I look at it with you too. It's like a blended
Super
family,
blended.
super blended family. Which this is my own story of the experience. But like, I don't think I ever met E's mom, or maybe I did, but maybe it was just like in passing. But I don't think I ever met
At
E's mom until the
baby
baby
shower.
shower.
Yep.
So when she came in and she was like, her and her mom were there, and they just got to decorating and stuff. I said, not the other baby mama ready to help with the wife. I said, this is a
Village.
real family situation. Like y'all are
Yes.
blended.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's a village.
It's a village.
I think my children, they're blessed because they have several grandmothers,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then we
Mm-hmm.
still have a couple grandfathers as well. On top of that, they
Yeah.
have bonus mothers and bonus aunts and bonus
Mm-hmm.
cousins and 1,000 other cousins. But
Mm-hmm.
so I think they're always blessed. Like just this past weekend, we was at my bonus. One of my bonus there, it was there, but
Mm-hmm.
she basically oldest son's
So,
um
sister.
sister. No, that's a
I'm
daughter,
about to say
right?
now. Wait a minute. Wait a
Look, that
child.
that would be the one time I put hands on you because he's only
Oh
13.
gosh.
Um, but nah, but she is my oldest son's sister.
Younger sister.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I was just always raised like this on such thing as hi, brother, half
Mm-hmm.
sister, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel the same thing. Like her father's still around,
Mm-hmm.
and with all due respect to him and stuff like that. But I'm also her godfather.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I see her, I'm daddy, and
Mm-hmm.
she's my daughter. And when I talk to anybody, like, oh, it's my other daughter, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things. But, yeah, we went down there for her birthday, and, you know, the ones that are not directly related to her running
Mm-hmm.
through Nana's house and
Mm-hmm.
just grabbing what they want, doing what they want to do. So, and then
Yeah.
also disciplining them if need be, like, hey, get off of me,
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's like I said,
It's
it's
a one big blended family. But
super
I think
blended, yes.
that speaks that's like a testament to like what you just said in terms of like communication. Like you said in the beginning stages when you had your first one, when you had Mally, that probably was not your go to. even like you said, like his mom was like, you were a terrible communicator, right? But you had to learn over the years how to be honest, how to be open, how to communicate, how to set boundaries. And so through your own lessons, life lessons, and having to apply all of those skills, I think it also helps that you're in the mental health professional and you work with children. Your insight may also be a little different when it comes to that in terms of like parenting. And and then you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like all of that together is what may be the kind of like foundation that helps you all be one big happy blended family. Because I think that's pretty cool, you know? Like, even coming from my own blended family, my mom and my step siblings' mom, they see each other, they be around, but they're not gonna help each other cook on Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
They're not gonna show up and decorate for the birthday party. Like, that's just not the energy is given. And so when I
yeah,
saw that at the baby shower, I was like, this is beautiful. Wait, what?
yeah,
I love it. So yeah, I think that's a beautiful thing.
yeah. And I think part of it is on them as individuals as well.
Oh, for sure.
Because I think my wife is like amazing. So
Yes.
I think that plays a part of it. And I think like we're all mature enough that any has trauma, hiccups, whatever it may be, disagreements. I think we're at that point now where like everybody's old enough and it's like, don't got nothing to do with us, it's all about the kids now. So
Hmm.
let's make sure we co-parent, you know,
Oh
accordingly.
yeah.
So, but, I'll tell you right now, they love my wife more than they love me. So,
Ah,
um, if it was my birthday party, they may not have came because it was
because it was her baby shower, they
it
showed
was
up.
her baby shower that showed up. So,
Oh,
but I think we understood it. So,
yeah. Yeah. You're right though. It takes them too, and like emotional maturity. Um, your wife Camille's beautiful in terms of her way of just automatically just accepting and embracing the boys. And that takes a strong woman too. But it also could be easy based off of like her own upbringing and what she sees as family and
yeah,
what she sees as worth it and not worth it to worry about. So, yeah, y'all all are very blessed in terms of being connected to each other, but also the way that you all have evolved in your family structure. So, if there's if there's a father to be or like a new father or a seasoned father, honestly, because you
okay,
don't have to be a new father to receive advice. You can be a father who's a father of adult kids or a father figure, a male who is a mentor, a male figure to someone. What advice would you give them in terms of, just kind of like making it work when it comes to their own personal mental health, but also the way
yeah.
that they are a role model for kids?
Um, So I think for when it comes to kids first, just overall, I think we gotta remember to like be understanding,
Mm-hmm.
and show grace. Always, we gotta always show grace in kids because they're still developing. They don't know
Mm-hmm.
and be understanding because their generation is not our generation.
At all.
They're on TikTok. They're dancing the way they dance and stuff like that. They're wearing the clothes. So we gotta be understanding of that. Show them grace, and then just gotta remember like they are not us. To the aspect of they don't have to get the degrees and accolades we got. They don't have to play sports that we play. Like we need that because we enjoy that. They may not enjoy that. They may make more money being a dancer
Mm-hmm.
than we ever did just playing college sports.
Yeah.
And now just being on regular jobs. So just remembering that they're individuals and that they got their own paths. Um, but when it comes to just like fathers in general, like just maintaining their mental health, um, hey, just make sure you find an outlet, or a resource that we can go to or you can go to so that you can either share your feelings, whether it's therapy, or if there's just a best friend that you can vent to,
Mm-hmm.
or if there is a boxing gym that you just go beat up on the bags and you go home and give hugs.
Mm-hmm.
Just find that outlet so that you can get your frustrations out, you can express your feelings, but you can all do it in a constructive way.
Yeah.
And I feel like that helps you so much, like just mentally, emotionally, that just make you feel a whole lot better. which also reflect on your parenting and you being able to
Hmm.
do what you got to do your thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm down for therapy. So go
Yes.
get go get therapy, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
Just go experience it. So,
Hmm. Yeah. I like that. Thank you. And that's so true. How you take care of yourself does reflect on how you show up as a father. So I like that. It is full circle. And I appreciate you being vulnerable. See, you talking about you weren't going to be.
I'm not vulnerable. I'm just talking.
What we're going to do next is go into our next segment, which is known as Gift. If you are a regular listener of the podcast, you know that Gift is our gratitude practice, something that you can do with us here on the podcast, or you can do it every day on your own. Gift is an acronym. The G stands for gratitude or goal, the I is for intention, the F is for faith or focus, and the T is for take action. And so I can start just to kind of give you an example of what it looks like. So for my G, for my gratitude, I want to say that I'm grateful for the father figures that are in my life, as well as my father's. My fatherhood journey, not mine, but my journey with my fathers it's also unique and different in terms of my blended family experience. I've had my stepfather in my life, my bonus dad for since I was like 6. And then my bio dad had re-entered my life when I was 29. So it's been an interesting journey, but I'm appreciative for them both, but also for the father figures I've had, whether it be my uncle Mike, he's my mom's um, younger brother, but he's one of the oldest boys, or whether it's for, maybe teachers I've had, whether it's, people at church, or just, my friends' fathers too. I'm down for adopting somebody, grandma or dad, So I appreciate all of those men in my life that have been very impactful. My intention, my intention, my intention is to be grounded. I feel like life is lifing right now, and there's a lot going on in a lot of different directions that as adults we just kind of get pulled into. And so I want to make sure that I'm grounded. We talked about like spirituality and faith being grounded for us, and so I want to make sure I stay grounded. Faith or focus. Mm-mm-mm-mm. I like how you said like whenever you're in a tough moment or you just have something that you have a need, you can stop and talk to God about it. And so I do enjoy talking to God too. I feel like prayer is just having a conversation, but I want to be even more intentional about carving out specific time for my prayer time, because I'll just be talking in at random points, which is still heard and appreciated, but I still want to be super intentional the same way that I'm intentional with friends and family. And then take action. I probably should put it on my calendar. Probably schedule time. Be like, all right, pause and pray. I'm gonna put that on my calendar. I'm gonna set a little reminder that says pause and pray. That's gonna be my take action. So that is my gift. So Zakee, do you feel like you get it? The gift acronym? Okay. So what is your G? Your gratitude or goal?
I want to say that my gratitude is just, thankful for those who poured in me throughout the years, rather
Mm-hmm.
it's the male figures, me growing up in, sports and in fraternity and school, things of that sort, as well as the women who also poured into me, or who actually took care of me and helped me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's both the past and present. My
Mm-hmm.
mother, my aunt who took me in once I was 16,
Mm-hmm.
my uncle's wife, my aunt Ken, her always being there for me and still, still being there, keeping in contact with me about stuff. Um, but like I said, the current woman in my life as well, which is my wife
Yeah.
and the mother of my children, and
Mm-hmm.
Nana and Gam and Mimi, you
Yeah.
as well, every friends, like everybody who just, not only show me, will keep me accountable, but also
Mm-hmm.
point to me here and there with like little gems that you might give me, like I said
Mm-hmm.
from back years ago. Or when I remember you saying that life work thing.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for those that pour into me. Um, my eye,
Mm-hmm. Your intention.
my extensions. Yeah, um, I want to say my intentions is to be be intentional of,
Mhm.
my intention is to be intentional. So that makes
Yeah.
sense. To be intentional, to do everything with a purpose, to go
Yeah.
in there with a goal, with a reasoning, as well as that whole grace part I was telling you about, is to continue to show grace to both my children,
Mhm.
and my wife,
Yeah.
because nothing's easy in life. And I gotta remember, like, oh, the same problems I'm having, she's having, or the same problems I'm
Mhm.
having, or I used to have, my kids are having. So just having
Mhm.
grace. And then F is for faith. Um, I think, once again, the faith aspect is to be more intentional with my faith.
Yeah.
That whole part you were saying, like, carve out some specific time to
Yeah.
actually not just talk to God because I need to talk to God. Talk to God to thank Him for what I already
Mhm.
have. Just
Mhm.
stopping confident in the morning, or waking up out there in the morning to show, like, I'm getting up this early, not for nothing else, but to just say thank you to you, thank you for my family, thank you for what you're providing to me, and then going
Yeah.
sitting there the other day, maybe say, like I said, I am Muslim. Um, be more intentional of praying sometimes day, because sometimes hustling and bustling, you go in sessions and supervisions and all the good stuff, and you miss a lot of prayers.
Yeah.
So, being intentional with my faith as well.
Yeah.
Um, and then my T,
Take action.
take action.
Mhm.
Um, my take action, pick back off you again, is basically to to go ahead and take action. Don't plan to do it, but start
Actually
to
do it. Mhm.
to actually do it. In addition to be more connected and taking action on being more connected to my family and friends, and see all the time for what I have
Mhm.
actually for thinking about
Mhm. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Don't just say you want to do it or plan to do it, but actually do it. Like just
it.
take action, take the steps. Good, good. Well, I like that. Thank you for sharing your gift.
Thank
All
you. I'm still
right.
like this.
You gonna steal that gift? I like it.
I'm still up for it. I'm still up for work for my
Yeah,
employees and supervisors.
you can take it. Just let them know where you got it. You can take it. Well, we are down to our final segment, which is Vibe Tunes ATM. Vibe Tunes at the moment. So there's a playlist that if you are on Apple Music, Spotify, or YouTube, the playlist is up there. You can just look up Vibe Tunes ATM, the Here We Are podcast. It's up there. And so far, the playlist is very eclectic. I tell people, you're going to find you can find gospel, you're going to find some worship, you're going to find some trap. You're gonna find some twerking music, you might find some soul. Like, it's very eclectic, but it is a reflection of the different episodes and the guests that have been on the podcast. And so I love to add to the playlist by asking my guests, what are some things that you've been listening to? So what's a song that's like been on your heart, or something that you want to add to the Vibe Tunes ATM playlist?
Yeah. Well, my magic guy. So, um,
Ah!
I do have one that I just thought about as well. That, man, it comes on, it hits me different.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of a throwback at this point, but so I'm gonna tell you the first one, which is the ratchet one.
Okay.
Lifestyle with
Mm-hmm.
Young Thug.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Why that
yeah.
one?
So, and this is from years ago.
Where
So
I
when I
don't know
first
the
moved into
words. No, 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 beginning.
line, that's it.
Know the words.
That's it. Um, I would say because when I first moved up to DC,
Mm-hmm.
it was a new chapter in my life. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I I want to say I got my first true career at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Was hanging out more with, like, my friends, but still being able to do my father duties, every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Back in Virginia. So I think it was just like a I made it, even though I didn't make it yet, but
Mm-hmm.
I made it. Like, I'm living a lifestyle better than what I was living.
Yeah,
Um,
I
you
like
know,
that.
it was just, a little more stable. So,
Uh-huh.
when you're stable, you feel like you're rich. Um,
Okay. It feels good.
so
It's like, now
That
you
feels
putting my
good to be
bills on
seen.
auto pay. Mm.
Right? So that's the reason for that one. But
Okay.
then my all time favorite song, I feel like everybody that
Mm-hmm.
knows me knows this song.
Mm-hmm.
Like this song that be played at when,
Mm-hmm.
in 80 years from now. And that's The Best of Me. Um
Mm-hmm.
what's that?
Mm-hmm.
And so the reason for that song is because I feel like I've been through chapters and
Mm-hmm.
recent things in my life where I
Mm-hmm.
had to overcome it. And I feel like during, just different chapters of my life, I feel like there was either someone at that time that saw my potential, or there was always God there that kind of was like, just keep on going, like you good, you make it through.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so I think Best of Me, like even though, it's talking more of like God seeing the best of him and whatnot. I feel like it relates to seeing the best of me as well as the different people in my life seeing the best of me. Rather
Yeah.
it was a coach, even, a teacher, whoever, just seeing the best of me and be like, hey, you good, having that time to talk to me. So
Yeah.
that kind of hits for me. And that's why.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Lifestyle's a funny song. It definitely is a throwback, but anyone who knows
Yeah.
you definitely knows that he saw the best in me. That's your song. I
Yep.
like it. So
Everybody.
thank you for sharing those two. Yes. We're
No
gonna add that to
problem.
the playlist. We're
What
gonna add
about you?
that. So for me, recently I have been playing this album out. So Andra Day released a project maybe like a month ago. And the name of the project is Cassandra, and then like in parentheses it says Cherith. But I previously I was not listening to Andra Day like that. Like of course everyone knows her song like Rise Up, and then she had a lot of I won't say like music, but a lot of like publicity, and she was singing a lot of maybe even just like songs related to social justice during like the early like 2020 2019, but also because she was in the movie. I think it was like Billie Holiday versus the United States or something like that, and so that was already in itself. She did really good in that movie. She had to tap into some things, and so that movie, I think I listened to some of her music then, but this project really made me an Andra Day fan. I was like, girl, what is this sound? And so there's two songs on there that I really like. I like a lot of the songs on there. She even has this one song with Wale I really enjoy. But two of the songs that I'm going to add to the playlist today, one is called Chasing. And so the message in this song is basically about how a lot of times all of us are chasing two things, the bag and love, and how in our pursuit of chasing those things, like oftentimes they're chasing us back, or that is the position we need to have, like what I want wants me. And so I like that song. And then the second one is called Still, and we were talking about earlier like being grounded, and when I first listened to it I was like, is this about drugs? But I think she was talking about how in her life she's tried to self-medicate, right? Like we all try to find things to like cope that may not necessarily be healthy for us. And so for her, she's talking about how being still, and like, how they say like be still and like trust God. So being still for her is what's real. That's what helps ground her. That's what helps her to feel safe and secure. And so the chorus is like still feels real, and then real feels still, and then feels real still. Like she just kind of takes those three words and really re-emphasizes the message. Yeah. And so I like those two. So my vibe tunes for today are off the same project, but and from the same artist. But Chasing and Still, both by Andra Day. I really like those two songs right now. Yes, I like it. Listen to it. Tell me what y'all think. Again, remember the playlist, YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, all on there. Make sure you subscribe and let me know what y'all been listening to. All right. But we are at the end. We did it. We did it.
Cheers.
I
Cheers.
appreciate you. No tears. Look, because we both water signs, y'all. Zakee's a Cancer. I'm a Scorpio. We could just be up in here. And then I
It's
I
fine,
can't
man.
believe it. We could just be crying, but I appreciate you for coming. I appreciate you for being my guest. I appreciate you just for being my brother. I enjoy watching you be a father. I really do. But I appreciate that we can also pour into each other. So the fact that you were willing to come on was really exciting for me. And we've
Pleasure,
collaborated
touching.
before. Zakee and I have been
Of
on
course.
panels before. We've done a lot. But I appreciate you showing up for me.
I appreciate you having me. So it's always an honor.
Yes.
Always.
Thank you.
Now you
Thank
come
you.
babysit.
Okay. Yeah. All the kids. Look,
All
them kids
four.
gonna leave eating avocado toast and chia seed pudding, but you know.
All but one, you said already. All
For
but
real?
one.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I'm down. I'm coming to babysit. Just let me know. But yes, y'all, thank y'all for listening to the listeners, to the viewers. I appreciate the continued support. We are in season 2, which I'm excited that we even made it to a season 2. It's been over a year since the podcast has been active, which is kind of wild to think about. I started this for fun, and then I think I really was like, oh, this is something that I really feel called to in terms of like storytelling and sharing the lessons that life has taught us and really grounding it in faith and mental health. So I appreciate y'all for sticking with us. If you want to connect, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, the Here We Are Pod with Teka. Also, make sure that you subscribe and share, rate and review the podcast. When you do rate and review and subscribe and share, what that does is it helps the podcast and the episodes get in front of the people that it needs to be in front of, and really just give them the lessons and the insight and the gems that they need. And like I always say, our story or your story can really encourage somebody else. So keep sharing. If you have anything you want to share with us, you can email me at theherewearepod@gmail.com. I try to make sure that I answer emails and even invite guests that way. So I appreciate you all for the continued support. Other than that, continue to take care of yourself and each other. We'll see you next time.